Hey everybody! We've got the dividing part of your homework assignment, so let's check it out. Reminder that when you divide by a fraction, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're always going to be flipping the second fraction. Okay, which again is called the reciprocal. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take the first fractions, and I'm just going to write them all down, right? Because it's the same for every single one. And then we're going to take the second fraction and flip it. So flip, flip, and flip. And we only do this when we're dividing, right? And when we flip, we change it to multiplication. So boom, boom. I'm using the x because we don't have any variables. And then we solve the problem, right? So we're going to look to cross-simplify now to make our lives easier. You don't have to, but cross-simplifying make your life a little bit easier. And when you do that, 2 goes into both 2 and 8, 1 and 4 times. You wind up getting 4/5 for number 1. Cross-simplify here, 12 goes into both. And you get 5/14 here, but it's negative because I've got a negative. All right, let's see. 3 and 6 can simplify to 1 and 2, and you wind up getting 7/16, right? And the last guy, check this out. The 15s cancel and the 19s cancel. I just get 1, and I say, well, geez, that makes sense. Because 15/19 divided by 15/19, anything divided by itself is 1. Did you guys see that? Okay, hopefully you did. All right, 8/1. We're going to do these individually now. Actually, you know what? Let's change all these to mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I've got 8/1. Okay, and let's go over here. I've got 25/4 divided by 5/2. I've got 45/8. And this is something that you guys know how to do already, divided by 5/4. And all I'm doing is just changing these to improper fractions. 7/3. Okay, that's all I have to do there. This guy, 7, 8, 9, 10/7 divided by 14/15. Okay, and that's negative. All right, so let's check it out. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So, boom, we're going to flip that guy and switch it to multiply. Then I can cross simplify. They all rhyme. All right, and I get 2 times 5, which is 10, over 1, which is just 10. All right, next one. Switch this guy, right? We said this little thing in class, the girl covers her eyes. The guy gets flipped upside down. Oh, yeah. And then we cross simplify, right? 1 and 2, 1 and 5. And you wind up getting 5/2 or 2.5. Okay. Next one. We've got 45/8 divided by 5/4. Well, that's the same as saying 45/8. Flip this guy. Oh, yeah. Multiply. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 2. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 9, right? 5 goes into 45 9 times. And you get 9/2, which is 4.5. All right. Next one. This became 7/3. Now this flips, right? Oh, yeah. The 7s become 1s, and you get 10/3, or 3 1/3. Okay? 3 1/3. All right, now we got some variables going on. No problem. 6/35t. Gonna flip it, right? Hiya. Hope you guys like my sound effects. You get 1, 2, right? 3 goes into 3 once and twice, 6 times, or 6 2 times. 7 goes into 35 5 times, and 7 goes into 7 once. So again, if you didn't see the variables, just go on without them. You get 2/5, and then you have a t on top and a t in the bottom, right? And those t's are going to wind up canceling. So you're just left with 2/5. And your final section here, 10/7. Okay, we're going to flip this guy, 7/15, and multiply. This becomes a 2, this becomes a 3, this becomes a 1, this becomes a 1. You wind up getting 2/3. But remember, one of these is negative, so your answer is negative. Right? And it's always a good job to go back and double check and say, all these are positive, so I get all positives. This is the only one with a negative, so my answer is negative. The opposite, right? And the last question, a teacher wants to tape sheets of paper together to make a science banner. He wants to make the banner 127.5 inches long, and each sheet of paper is 8.5 inches wide. So how many sheets will he need? So basically, you want to know how many 8.5s are in 127.5. If you were not good at fractions, you could change this problem and say 127.5 divided by 8.5. And you could do a long division problem. Okay, but we're going to do it with the fractions today. So I'm going to multiply and add. So 127 times 2, let's do it. 127 times 2, 14, 4, 5. I get 254 plus 1, right? So I get 255 halves. Now I got to make this into an improper fraction. And I get 17 over 2, right? But this is division. So when I divide, remember, the same thing as dividing by a fraction is multiplying by the reciprocal. So 255 over 2, we're going to flip it, and we're going to change it to multiplying. Okay, the 2's on the diagonal wind up canceling, so I get 255 divided by 17. And I say, all right, now we got to do a little bit of work. All right, how many times can 17 go into 25? Once with, well, let's see, 3 plus 5 is 8 left over. And how many times can 17 go into 85? Oh, well, it ends in 5, so let's guess 5. 17 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 85. Yes! Looks like 15, and it terminates. There's nothing left. 15. So my answer is 15 sheets of paper would make 127.5 inches. Okay? So remember, when you're dividing, change that second fraction. Remember to take the reciprocal and multiply. It's called the inverse reciprocal operation. Okay? All right, good job, guys. Keep working hard.